To most, this would look like a nice resting bench as you ascend the 199 steps to Whitby Abbey. However, these benches have a more sinister side to their story. Do you want to guess? Today's Crimsonian adventure, we find ourselves in the very heart of Dracula, Whitby. Today we're going to roam the streets and visit some of the places that inspired Bram Stoker to write Dracula, and perhaps some other vampire-inspired haunts along the way. The first stop is going to be this, the 199 steps. This steep staircase climbs the cliff to St Mary's Church and Whitby Abbey. So here you have two choices, two options. One, the 199 steps, which are those ones there, which they say you should count as you go. And the other way is this road to the right of them here, which apparently, as the story goes, if you were wealthy and your funeral was destined for the cemetery up there at the top of this route, although somewhat steep, that the horse and carriage would go this way, up there. Now, looking down the steps from a little way up, path in the middle, being followed by a butterfly at the same time. Butterfly. Won't leave me alone. Anyway, looking down the steps from a little way up, with the path in the middle, and we're going to take the steps and we're going to take our time, as it is very steep. And there's some very interesting and eerie sights to see. And very beautiful too. I'm not sure if you can read that sign. It says, persons using the 199 steps do so at their own risk. And the other sign there is where we're headed. Whitby Abbey and St Mary's Church. Check out that view just beyond, in the sea, in the lighthouse.
I said about 6.
Truth be told, the ascent up here isn't that bad, especially with views like that. Over here we can see the town that inspired Bram Stoker to write Dracula. Would you look at that? The sound of the ocean waves. This is terrific. If you want to break on this climb, there are benches to rest on. Looking down, that's the alternative route we could have taken. I think we're about 55 steps up at this point. Enough to be above the rooftops at least. Here's the truth about the opening question to this video. These benches weren't actually made for sitting. Back in the day, pallbearers that carried caskets up these steps would tire, so would set the coffins down upon these benches, and they were known as coffin benches. Eerily interesting. There's another one here on this side. Just imagine, back in the day. We have made it to the top of the 191 steps. Bram Stoker would be proud. Dracula would be proud. Although I forgot to count the steps. Too busy filming. and it wasn't as strenuous as first anticipated. Now, referring to the novel, the very first few chapters of Dracula, when his vessel arrives here, with him inside his coffin and dirt, here in England, on the ship called the Demeter. It runs aground here at Whitby. No trace of the crew, only the deceased captain tied to the helm. But it mentions Whitby. And it mentions Whitby Abbey. After the ship arrives, Dracula, in the form of a black dog, runs up the 199 steps. These steps we've just walked to the Abbey. Pretty cool to consider, I think. Now, there's one final coffin bench here, and the cemetery is over there on the left. So many people doing the best to get the shot. And then directly ahead, which is taken over the full screen, is St Mary's Church. Look how beautiful that is. And over there, rearing its head, I believe, is Whitby Abbey. The ruins of it, at least. And the same place that when Bram Stoker saw it, he thought, wow, the perfect gothic location for Dracula. Now, it's reported that Stoker would stroll through this very graveyard and take notes on some of the names here. In the book, the very first victim, a person by the name of Swales, is allegedly here, and we're going to go in search of it. Let's look for the Swales tombstone, shall we? So wandering around, it hasn't actually taken that long. If you come here and you find yourself with that view, then this stone right here, which is weathered and worn, if we go close, you can see S-W-A and the L-E-S, the first victim in Bram Stoker's novel. He would have stood right here and was inspired by that grave. First victim. Crazy, right? And you can just imagine out there, if Bram Stoker stood here, which is highly possible, that he looked out to that coastline and saw the Demeter coming into shore. Dracula's ride into town. Right there. What a place, what history, and we get to walk it together. Yeah, and you can walk around the whole perimeter here of the cemetery. People way out there, breathtaking views out to sea, and then as we turn this corner, there's Whitby Abbey, ominously looming over this graveyard. This now truly feels like I'm here in Whitby. I'm truly in the home of Dracula. And the evidence is there. We know Bram Stoker came here for his holidays. Whitby is stated in the book. St Mary's Church is mentioned in the book. This cemetery where we are now is mentioned in the book. The steps we climbed were mentioned in the book. Swales, someone who lived in reality, became the first victim in the novel. Very cool. Wild, right? So can we get inside St Mary's Church? Look at all of this. Another beautiful church. So it looks like it's open. Look at these enclosed pews. I'm not sure if I've been in some churches over the years, but I don't recall seeing anything like this before. '15th century stone fonts. That blue plaque says right there. And among the endless things on display here, fascinating history, we have this. A Saxon baby coffin. Everywhere you look in this place, in every nook there's something hidden. Blink and you'll miss it. Usually it's always something relevant. This definitely feels like I'm moving further and further into Dracula's domain now. Dracula's world. Even as we leave, look at these doors. Even the style here gives Dracula vibes. They kind of look like wings. The other one, unfortunately, has received some damage, but we got to see one of the wings at least. More appropriately, the wings of a bat. There it is. Love that gate. Spectacular views wherever you look. Now I don't know about you, but I'm ready to visit Whitby Abbey. And just like that, movie magic, welcome to Whitby Abbey. Now this is July, and we have to bear in mind that the weather has been spectacular by British standards anyway. So there are tourists everywhere. So I'll try to do the Abbey and the video justice for you all by capturing as much as I can. Look at that. The pure majesty of it. Dracula, an absolute scream. See the legendary tale performed live in the ruins that inspired its writer. Book early and save 15%. So dates on that, 25th of July to 1st of September, Saturdays to Tuesdays. That'll be amazing, I bet, when they light this place up. Now I know the story of Dracula. Read the book and spent many a memorable hour watching the Hammer horror movie franchise with Cushing and Lee, with my parents. And even though I did a fleeting visit here before on my way up to Scotland, I didn't imagine I'd be back doing this. But my word, it's so worth it. Would you look at that? And this is in summer. It's not even Halloween, or when the local towns celebrate Gothic or Dracula themed weekends. But how cool is this place? If you come here, especially as a fan, surely it's going to be one of the coolest experiences to have. Amazing. Oh, what a shot that is. What a great view of those arches. Look at that. It's probably one of my favourite views here, I think. It's massive. Simply in awe of this place. A masterpiece of Gothic architecture. 11th century, I believe, this place. Imagine what it looked like back then. You can easily see how Bram Stoker drew inspiration from this place for his novel. And somehow it looks like it still has something to say, a grudge to bear, as if breathing, alive. Look at that behind me. Look at this. Talk about walking through history. My word, this is one of the highlights for me here. Kind of looks eerie, kind of looks dreamlike, kind of looks gorgeous, and kind of looks Dracula. Now I wish I was staying here for longer, but sadly I'm only here for one night. But if this is all the time you have, just one day, it's definitely worth the visit. Just imagine it when walking through, what this place looked like back in the day. Imagine what it looked like at night. I hear in the winter months, they light this place up. Imagine what it looks like at night. Whoa. Look at this. Now that is something. Goth weekenders would be in their element here. Now in October, I hear they do reenactments and tell ghost stories, things like that. And whether you believe in that sort of stuff or not, or whether they're true or not, it's a bit of fun at least. But those stories transport you to a place of wonderment, of what ifs, and did that happen? And did vampires actually exist back then? But one thing's for sure, this is the home of Dracula. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this instalment here at the famous town of Whitby, the place that inspired one of the best stories of all time. Please subscribe and join us on more fun and interesting adventures, even though sometimes eerie and a little bit scary, like this one. I chose to come down not via the 199 steps, it would have been easier, but the original coach and horses route where they carried the coffins up, and it is very steep. Look at that up ahead. Taking the original route, the steep route down, 199 steps up, very steep slope going back down, the old horse and carriage route. So sweet, those kids are counting the steps, as you can hear in the background, but it also adds somehow to the eeriness of the place. Whew. Gives you a slight shudder, the shivers, if you will. $3 million. 177, 178, 179, 180, 181, 182, 183. Now I've come back here in the evening, and maybe this is what I should have done all along to avoid the majority of the tourists. Look at that, with the exception of 2 people. Oh, look at this now. So for anyone wishing to come here or to film videos here, now it is the perfect time. I'm here at about 8:45 p.m. and it's just nice and sleepy. look at that. Or early morning probably would do it, but I tried doing my video 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was a challenge, to say the least. But look at this. If I could redo all those shots now. Oh wow. It's like we're here alone. Oh well, maybe next time. And with that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Well, that behind me, amazing. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.